from 707 Nav. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we should be live now. So let me just go ahead and check. This is Megan Weaver. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you, Corina?
Good. So let's just go ahead and check and make sure we're live. Okay, yes, we're live. All right, so we can get this party started.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing good too. This is my first time doing anything like this, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Congrats.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Megan Weaver, and I live in Dallas with my husband, and I am a photographer for fashion and lifestyle bloggers and women entrepreneurs, and I absolutely love it.
Cool, awesome. So go ahead and tell us, I guess, like some tips that you have for collaborating with a photographer for your blog.
All right, awesome. So I know like finding a photographer to work with, if you've never worked with one before, can be a little bit intimidating. But I think if you are aware of like other bloggers in your area through like Instagram or Facebook, and you see which ones you like their images or their blog posts, you can get a good idea of their photographer's style. So I would suggest like you could use a hashtag. Like in my instance, I would do hashtag Dallas blogger or hashtag Dallas photographer, or whatever like industry you want to find a photographer for, and just look at those hashtags, see if there's like photos and styles that you like, and then you can reach out to one or a couple photographers and just check out their blog and their Instagram, and make sure that like you like their photos, but it's also good if you feel like you would have good chemistry with them, because you're going to be working with them, and if you're comfortable with someone, then that's going to produce a much better shoot because you're going to be more relaxed. And that's not, something that happens right off the bat, but if you guys can meet before your shoot, if you're in the same area, meet for coffee or brunch or something, to share your vision that you have for the shoot, that's going to help you feel a lot more comfortable on the day of the shoot. And if you can't, you could always do like a Skype call or a phone call, so you can kind of get to know each other that way. But I'd say the key to having a great shoot with your photographer is communication. And don't feel like you're annoying your photographer if you're telling them like all these ideas that you have, because I know, at least for me, I want to know what their vision is so that I can give that to them, so that all this work goes into a shoot. So you want to make sure that you have the best possible outcome and you have the images that they are envisioning. So you have to be able to communicate a lot before then. So ways I would suggest doing that are, stop me if I'm going on too long.
No, it's okay. It's good. So before, I guess, you meet with a photographer, should you create a mood board?
Yeah, you can definitely create a mood board, or you can create a private Pinterest board, which is what a lot of my clients have done. Or you could do like a shared Dropbox folder with either the photographer's images that you like, that you would want to use as inspiration, or you can go out and look at like Vogue magazine or different fashion bloggers, whatever you're kind of aiming for that shoot, and find inspiration, and then you can share it with them. And if you have like a specific location in mind, let them know, and they can hopefully help you try to find that. Or if you have specific images, you can share, or you can create and share a shot list with them, which is what I do for shoots that are a little bit more, involve more planning.
What does a shot list include?
That could be, it could be like as simple or as detailed as you want. So for me, if I'm creating a shot list, it'll usually include things like get a wide shot that sets the scene of where we're shooting, and then maybe other like action shots. So if she's wearing a skirt or something, if I know she's going to be wearing a dress or something, get like twirling shots or movement shots based on the outfit, to incorporate some more action, or detailed shots. Definitely, if it's like a fashion post, you want to make sure that the photographer is getting details of your outfit so you can either sell it or just promote it. And then I also like to get closer up shots, like more portraits, to kind of just show their natural emotion, or help people to be able to connect with them. So that's just kind of a rough list of ideas, but really, if you're like at the beach, you could get a bunch of different shots with different props, or, you know, in the water, outside the water, walking. So it really just depends on what your theme is for the shoot, and what your end goal is. So you could really have as many or as few.
You work with bloggers on their story, like their, I mean, like the mood, I guess, setting the tone and the mood for the shoot.
Yeah, and some people will know what they want, like will know specific things that they want for their story or for their post. And some people don't have as much like detail in mind. So I'll kind of help try to pull that out of them, just so we, you know, make the most of our shoot. So I'll try to find out if they have a theme or a story that they want to tell, and a location. And if they don't, then I'll usually ask, like, what outfits are you going to be wearing? And then I'll try to find a location that will fit that story or those outfits. So like urban location, or like neutral buildings for outfits that are maybe more put together. And then we could go to like a park, or the Arboretum in Dallas, if it's going to be more like bright colors and like spring, like a spring theme or something. So
That's cool.
I like to find that out beforehand too.
Yeah. So going back to the shoot list, is there like a certain number, like in that list, that they should be writing down, like a certain number of like shoots per type of shoot, I guess?
I guess if they want to get a variety, anywhere from like 5 to 10 different shot ideas. So definitely, like, if you know you're going to be using one for Instagram, make sure you get like a full body shot that's a little bit further back so you can crop that in. Because I've run into that a few times where shots I've taken, I didn't realize that they're going to be using them for Instagram. So,
oh, okay. Yeah.
So just like, if you know that you need these specific shots for your, either like your website or your blog post, make sure you tell your photographer that. And like, I try to ask too, just to make sure, but I don't always know what they have in mind. So one example is, if you know that you're going to need a horizontal header shot for your blog post, make sure you get at least like 1 or 2 horizontal options for that outfit, so that you can have that as your blog header or whatever, or your Facebook cover image or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly like when you're promoting stuff online, you have to have you have to have your Instagram post, you have to have your Facebook post, and website stuff, and it's all different sizes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And some people that I shoot with don't necessarily need like close-up detailed shot. So I'll try to ask them, is there any specific type of shot you need? Do you want details? And some people don't. So it's totally dependent on what their end goal is for the shoot, how long of a list they want. Yeah.
Cool. Can you tell us anything about lighting?
Yeah, sure. So if you're shooting outside, usually the best times for lighting are either the last 2 or 3 hours before sunset or the first few hours after sunrise. And that's because the light is a lot softer because it's closer to the horizon. Mm-hmm. So if you're shooting, you're not going to have a lot of like harsh light coming onto your face or onto your clothes. And, obviously your photographer should know which direction to face you so that the sun isn't coming down on your face and you're like squinting and you can't do anything. But usually those, like the beginning and the end of the day, are really good for shooting outside. But then and also like when you're picking a location, keep that in mind. So if you were, say, shooting at a cafe at like 9 in the morning, you wouldn't want the cafe to be facing east if you're outside, because the sun's going to be coming straight down onto the cafe. And so like if you're wanting the lighting is not going to be as even, it's going to be very harsh. So you might want to choose a location that's facing west so that you're shooting more in the shade, and it's still going to be bright, but it's going to be more even. You're not going to be looking right into the sun. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But if you have to shoot outside, like in the middle of the day, try to find either a tall building that you can shoot next to, shoot in like the shaded area, because again, it's still going to be bright, but that light is going to be diffused and even, so it's going to be good to shoot in. Or you could find an area that has like a covered area to shoot under if you have to shoot during the middle of the day.
And you don't recommend like shooting underneath a tree, right? Because then there's like a bunch of shadows.
Yeah, usually, especially if it's pretty bright outside, you're going to have to work around like the light coming through the leaves. So it's going to be like spots of light and like spots of shadows. So it's going to be really uneven lighting on you. So unless you just find a tree that's completely shaded underneath.
What if you're shooting on the beach during the day?
If you're shooting on the beach like during noon or something, what I would do is, if you have to shoot during then, I would make sure that the blogger's back is towards the sun, so that, and this is personal, preference too, but I just like shooting backlit to where the light is coming at their back so that their face is even and not like bright on one side, shaded on the other side.
Okay.
And then what I do is I try to make sure the light is correct on their face. And then if the background is a little bit too bright, that's okay. For my preference, but that's what I would do if there's just like no clouds or anything. And also you can shoot when it's cloudy or like foggy outside. That's still a good time to shoot because the light coming down is really even. So even if you're shooting,
is it more diffused that way?
Yeah, it's more diffused. So that it's actually really nice because you can turn and shoot in whatever direction you want for the most part.
Oh,
it'll be even lighting. So shade or fog and clouds are good.
That's cool. That's awesome. So what do you recommend for makeup for shoots, for like even skin tones and that type of thing?
Well, like if people ask me about makeup, I guess they haven't really. I usually just like refer them to local makeup artists if they don't usually do their own makeup. But it's safe to to wear a little bit more makeup than you usually wear for a photo shoot. So a little bit more mascara, or you could do eyeliner. I'm like the worst person because I don't wear like I only wear mascara, so I'm not like.
Do you know anything about like the foundation at all?
I mean, you wouldn't want to look like too orange or too pale or something. So try, don't like go overboard, but a little bit extra. Yeah, you can definitely use some foundation, blush. Like some people I've shot with have like no lipstick. Some people use a lot of lipstick, really bright colors. So it really just depends what their style is and what they're comfortable with. But yeah, usually a little bit more than you normally wear is safe because it'll show up better on camera.
Do you have any recommendations for people feeling comfortable on camera and getting into that state?
Yeah. So first of all, most people I shoot with, it's like their first time or they've only done it a couple times. So they're always like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel really nervous. I'm awkward on camera. So that's totally normal if that's how you feel. Not like most of the people I shoot with are not like professional models. So it's totally okay if you feel that way.
So how do you get people to get like relaxed in their face, like their facial, to smile?
Yeah. So a few things I do, like starting from the beginning of the shoot, I'll try to talk with them for a while and just get to know them a little bit if we haven't met in person, so they feel a little bit more comfortable. And then helping them relax, I might like give them an action to do, like walking or do these specific things, and then that'll help them kind of relax and forget that they're on a photo shoot. Or sometimes I'll turn on music if they want to do that, because that helps them relax and move a little bit more. Or I'll try to get them to laugh or just do like a fake laugh, which usually turns into a real laugh, and then they feel a little bit more relaxed then too, which is really funny and awkward when I try to do it, but
that's cool.
Yeah.
So tell me about your work. You've been featured in Woo magazine and a few other magazines. Tell me about those shoots.
So Rue magazine, that was actually an interior shot or like a local textile company. So occasionally I'll work with bloggers that are like lifestyle or food or interior bloggers. So that was one of those where we did like a styled shoot with the textiles that her company had. So we brought in like different food props and like cutting boards and just little things that you would use like in the kitchen. So she styled everything and then I shot it and submitted it to Rue magazine, and then that's how it got published. So that was really exciting to shoot that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are there any other shoots that have been really, really fun that you were really excited about?
Yeah. I mean, I just love that every shoot is so different, so it's hard to pick favorite, but I love the ones where there's like a fun location and like fun props involved that really tell a story. And that's kind of why I wrote the series on my blog about planning a creative shoot, because I was like, there's so much that goes into this. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorites was like a pineapple themed shoot. And then the blogger I was shooting with, she had a ton of like Kate Spade clothes. So it was just a really fun, bright shoot. And we got to shoot in this yard that had like palm trees and bamboo. And so I brought pineapples to use as props and styling like her jewelry. And I think she brought like a bottle of rosé. So we just styling all these different props. So that was really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I guess what other tips do you have for bloggers to shoot?
Let's see. I guess just making sure like if you're doing like a fashion shoot, finding a location that will really like enhance the clothes that you have. And
What do you mean by enhance the clothes?
so I guess if you know that you're going to be wearing like a really colorful striped outfit or something, well, and I guess it's also personal preference. Like some people like color on color, and some people like color on something more neutral. So just keeping that in mind while you're planning so you don't end up in a location that you really don't like, and then you have to
So
shoot
like the colors need to match your clothing.
yeah, they could either match or just complement. But yeah, just also other things are like keeping in mind what time you're going to be shooting and if the light's going to be favorable for that time of day. If you're shooting,
How can you plan it, I guess, like plan in advance to make sure that the lighting is going to be okay?
I always make sure that the location that I'm shooting at is going to work with the direction that the sun is coming from. So if I'm shooting later in the day, I'll try to find a location that is east facing so that I can shoot backlit towards the sunset. And like if you've never been to that location, you could use like Google Maps or Google Earth, or go to their website and try and see like which direction the location is facing, so you know that the backdrop is going to have good lighting. So that's one way I find locations if I haven't been there before. And if you know that you're going to be shooting at like a cafe or like a public or a privately owned place, definitely I would recommend to contact them in advance and ask them if it's okay if you shoot there, because you don't want to go to a location only to be told that you can't shoot there. And
how do you get permission from them? Like, do they make you sign anything, or do you have to sign anything, or do you just ask? How does that work?
I think I've only had, or maybe not, I don't think I've ever had to sign anything, but a few times locations have said, like, we charge this fee if you want to shoot here. And then some people have said, we usually charge this fee, but we'll drop it. Because what I do is I usually either call them or email whatever department that is on their website. And then I'll say, would it be okay if I came with, usually it's just one other blogger, and we shot in your location at this time. This is when we're wanting to come, and it's just going to be the two of us. There's not going to be any large equipment or other people. And then I ask like if they have a fee, or if not, like we're definitely going to share your location and tag your location in any like social media posts and blog posts so that they feel like they're getting something out of it. And usually like most of the places I contact are like, yeah, go for it. We'd love to have you shoot here. And I usually try to make sure that we're shooting at a time in the day when it's not super busy, so you can avoid getting like people in the background.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's easier too, because sometimes you don't want to have your picture taken in front of a whole room of people. You just want it to be you two and maybe the people that are working there. So it's a little bit less stressful too.
What are the places that you found that charge a fee?
Usually I think it's only been like hotels, like nicer hotels.
Okay.
But one of the hotels I think dropped their fee for us. But every hotel is a little bit different, I think.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I know that I have a lot of people watching that are business owners. We're bloggers and we're business owners. Can you tell me more about like your schedule, like your your weekly schedule and how you plan things out as a photographer?
Yeah, so every week for me is different. Some weeks I'll have like a shoot every day or multiple shoots every day. And then some weeks, like usually it's in the winter, I won't have as many shoots during the week. So I'll just try to do different things to catch up in my business where I haven't been able to focus on them because I've been shooting and editing. So every week's a little different, but as far as like systems, I love using Asana to plan out my shoots, and then
I love Asana too.
Yeah.
I live in Asana.
Yeah, I moved from Trello because it just looked nicer, and I like the way that everything operated. So love Asana. And then I also put in like, milestones for delivering images and shoot dates and everything.
How long does it take after you shoot to deliver the photos?
My turnaround is 1 to 2 weeks, unless there's like hundreds and hundreds of images. But usually for like a blogger shoot, I send over all of the proofs to them, so they're like the unedited images, because I want them to be able to choose their favorites instead of me choosing. 'Cause it's not,
Right. So you send them, what is it, a contact sheet of everything before you do any editing?
Yeah, I send everything over in Pixieset, which is like really nice for viewing. It's like a gallery view, and then all they have to do is like click their favorites, and that sends me a list of the favorites, and then I edit all of those. And then, so from the time they share their favorite images, it's like 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how many shoots I had the week before too.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of that app?
It's Pixieset.
Okay.
And it's free until you hit a certain like amount of images. So
Okay.
I used to use Dropbox, but it's a much cleaner workflow and it's much nicer to look at too.
Do you do any batching, like throughout your week? Do you batch your days?
I guess I don't have like a specific day every week that's always like content creation or always editing, because it's always like changing my week. But like I will try to, like today was like my content creation and like, obviously doing this live chat, whereas yesterday was more like emails and planning out things. So every week's a little bit different, but yeah, if I like, I'll try to batch all my emails together, and then I'll try to do like a few different shoots, like editing them if I'm like in that mode. So I try to, but it's not like really specific.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't really do it. Yeah, I try to do the same thing. Like I have certain days for emails, and then certain days for marketing, and certain days for content writing. But things come up, and it's not always practical. But it's good to have it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought about doing that. What?
Yeah. Cool. Trying to think of what else could be helpful. How did you get your start into photography with fashion bloggers? How did you know you wanted to shoot fashion bloggers, and how did you start with that?
Yeah. So I guess I first started photography like right at the end of college, and I was just doing it for fun, like just shooting our family vacations. And then I started shooting like senior pictures for my friends that were graduating. And then I started doing weddings because like friends would ask me, and I was like, I know I like photography, but I don't know what I want to focus on.
Right.
So I was still living in Oklahoma, and this was like 2012. And my husband, who we were still dating at the time, he's from Austin. And so he moved to Dallas about 6 months before I moved there. So it was kind of like the halfway point for us. So that's how we ended up in Dallas. And
so what brought you to, I guess, like the fashion bloggers, like after you you did all that stuff, what led you to fashion bloggers?
So when I moved to Dallas, I was working for a marketing agency, and I was still, shooting weddings occasionally and portraits every once in a while. But when I moved here, I noticed that there was a ton of fashion bloggers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and even like the top fashion bloggers, even though they had great content, they didn't necessarily have the best photos.
Mm-hmm.
So they would just have like their friends or family take their photos. And so I knew I loved fashion photography and working with people one-on-one. So I thought, I'm going to become a fashion blog photographer, even though nobody else that I could tell in Dallas was doing it. And so I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to go for it. And so I just reached out to like a few prominent bloggers in Dallas and shot with them for free, so that I could kind of get a feel for what it was like and a little bit of experience to start my portfolio for blog photography. And then people just slowly started to find me through Instagram and social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of grew from there. And now I shoot with women entrepreneurs also. So creating a lot of like branding images for their website and social media, in addition to fashion bloggers. But I feel like if I wouldn't have like chosen that one specific thing that I wanted to be known for, it would have been a lot harder to do my business in Dallas, which is crazy because I didn't know anyone when I moved to Dallas, and I was like,
"So there's a big fashion blogging scene there in Dallas."
Yeah, there's a lot of fashion bloggers here, and it's just like continued to grow. Like every week, there's like new fashion bloggers. I feel like through Instagram, seeing new people, which is really cool. So
awesome. And are there specific events there that you've gone to?
Yeah, there are like blogger events every once in a while that I'll try to go to, and then there's also like a local group that does different events, not necessarily for just bloggers, but like women in Dallas. So it's really fun to meet people that way too. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for bloggers, whether they want to like collaborate with a local boutique and do an event. So yeah, it's really fun to see.
Do you do any product shots?
Yeah, I've done like food photography shots for bloggers, and some jewelry and interiors. Earlier this week I did a woman who does like fine art paintings, and so we got to go into this really pretty, one of her friends' houses, who's an interior designer, and like staged the paintings, and so I got to shoot in there, which was really fun.
That's awesome. That's cool. So let's see what else. I'm trying to think. I don't know. For those of you who are watching this, Megan and I met through an online program called B School, and we met through there online, and it's crazy like how many people you can meet, online if you get involved in Facebook groups. And that's kind of, how we've, wouldn't you say, Megan, how you've grown your business as well so much with like networking online through Facebook groups and Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that there's like so much possibility with the internet. And like, I feel like that's what helped me in the beginning, was just reaching out to people that I saw on Instagram or through their blog.
Right.
Being okay with them maybe saying no or not getting
that. That's what I've been doing as well. And did you send them like direct messages, and that worked pretty well?
Yeah, I sent them all, like, I just found their email on their Instagram or blog or whatever, and then just reached out to them via email. And some people didn't get back to me or said no. And then there was like, those few people that said yes, that really helped like they agreed to shoot with me, and so that just really helped to like grow my blog photography in the beginning. So you just kind of have to be okay with being rejected sometimes.
Right. Do you feel that online, like being online, has helped more than doing like in-person networking group? Do you feel that being online has been more helpful than networking events?
I mean, they both definitely helped. I think in person helps to create, or like helps to build the relationship faster, and so they trust you more easily, and so I've been able to get like clients that way. But also being online and just showing up has definitely helped to grow like my clients and my newsletter. So they're both like really great things. So I try to incorporate like in person and online if I can.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for your Instagram, like how you grew your Instagram following to get new clients?
Mm-hmm. Like there's so many things that contributed, but I think it does help that like my clients usually will tag me in photos, so that kind of helps to grow my reach.
Mm-hmm.
But using like appropriate hashtags, so like blog and photography related hashtags and like Dallas related hashtags has really helped. And then just being active on Instagram, commenting, finding other people that I'm interested in or that I think might be interested in me has really helped. And I mean, I've done like a few loop giveaways or like giveaways on Instagram. I feel like they help with numbers, but not always necessarily with like engagement, because they can just unfollow you once it's over. But just having beautiful images that are cohesive, I think has really helped to get more followers. So like knowing what your aesthetic is and what types of images you like can help you to be more consistent and have like a more consistent grid that people will be drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Have you done any specific collaborations where there was like a specific requirements that you had or a specific agreement where you had or that you had with people where they both of you guys shared on social media?
I think I did one where it was just me and another blogger where we shared each other's profiles and like talked about each other. And since, I mean, like some brands will reach out to me, but since I'm not a fashion blogger,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like incorporate that onto my blog since it's mostly like photography related tips.
Mm-hmm.
But I did do like an event where I went to the event that the brand was hosting and I had to post 2 photos and like, use a certain hashtag or using their account in order for, to get paid for that collaboration. But I haven't done a ton of those. It's mostly just like organic or like giveaways.
Tell me about the Pure Wow photo shoot.
That was actually, they featured me as one of the like 3 photographers in Dallas. So I think there was like a headshot photographer and then another photographer, I can't remember. So they're just like featuring 3 different photographers and what they specialized in. So they just included me and like a few of my images and then some of the people that I'd worked with and kind of what I specialized in. So that was,
how did you get in there?
I think they just reached out to me and were asking if I was interested in being on the list. And so
that is really cool.
Yeah, some information to include and some images on there. So that was a really awesome surprise.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's always fun when you just get those like emails and you're like, what?
Yeah, that's just awesome. Yeah, it wasn't like you had to apply or submit anything.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I had to do that, but there are definitely times when you have to do that, especially for like guest posting.
Have you gotten any of your blog posts like on any other like publications?
Trying to remember like of like full length blog posts for other publications.
Just wondering if that helps too, or if just people are they just find you on Instagram, if they're just finding you, following you, and then they feature you that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people find me too through other, like my clients' blog posts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like photography by, and then they'll find me that way. So I think that's more how people find me versus like guest posting, but I definitely need to do more of that, like sharing tips and everything on other people's blogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So, so when you do photos with bloggers, you make sure that they put, a link back to your website and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll always like ask them if they would do that, just because it's great to see where the images are coming from. But if they don't, I don't like micromanage and
Yeah.
so it's just more of a like, if you do this, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always good to credit, and give back that way, So yeah, cool. Well, this was really great. Thank you so much for all of your tips.
Yeah, I'm so excited you asked me to be part of this. This is really fun.
Yeah, so this is the first of many series that are going to be coming up in the next 6 months of different live chats that we're going to be having with different guest experts. So I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to have had you, Megan, on this chat. This has been really fun.
Me too. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So I guess we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
And if you guys want to follow Megan on Instagram, what is it? It's Megan M. Weaver, right?
Yeah, my middle initials in the middle, so it can be kind of tricky with all the M's. But yeah, Megan M. Weaver, and then my website is Megan-Weaver. And I also have a newsletter that I share photography tips on for bloggers, and that is at megan-weaver.com/free. So I'm going to send one out in the next few days too. If you're interested and want more photography tips, you can sign up right there. So
awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for everything, and it was nice to chat with you.
Thanks, Corina. Good to chat with you.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.